A new Link Click Season 3 trailer dropped. The last one was so chill, I almost forgot how dark this series actually is. There is only 1 minute of footage, but it is stacked with new info. Let me unpack it. Judging by their outfits, we start at the exact same place both Season 2 and Brighton arc ended, back at the photo studio after Lu Guang and Cheng Xiaoshi returned from the hospital. So putting the 3 scenes together, just as Liu Xiao enters the country, Xia Fei and Jack have gone missing and the police in Brighton are looking for Vain. We know Vain was revived or never really died at the end of Brighton arc, so that makes sense. Then we have the first animated appearance of our new character Jae Lee. He was first introduced in a promo video for the latest Link Click album. I did a whole video on him, so I'll keep it short here. Jae Lee is a sergeant in the Brighton crime agency, working in the Special Affairs squad. We can assume Special Affairs refers to ability-related incidents. In his original introduction, we listen to his side of a phone call. He says, "It's good to hear you're still alive, sir. If you're calling me while I'm on vacation, it must be very important. Fine, I'll catch them. My vacation is ruined, but Guido sounds like an interesting place." Guido is the fictional city where the photo studio is, and we can see from the visuals he planned to go to the photo studio. This lines up perfectly with the new trailer, where we find out he is in Guido looking for someone. In my original video, I said that the person he was on the phone with was Vain, based on that "good to hear you're still alive" line, and that the person he was going to catch would therefore be Lu Guang, which I think still works here. What's new is this whole incident at a compound that he seemed to be in charge of. He says everyone was killed, but not a single bullet was fired. They had to have been killed by some kind of power. And the next 5 shots seem to imply that it was the doing of our usual group of suspects, plus this new character. This is the only shot of them we get, so aside from looking cool, we know nothing about them. However, there is a massive lore drop in the shots of the compound. We go through shots of all these dead bodies until we get to this guy. That's Jack, isn't it? We knew he was missing from the end of Brighton arc, but now he's dead. In this shot, he's lying in a pool of blood on tiles. Then 2 shots later, when we see Xia Fei, Jack is there in the background. But now he's been dragged out of the blood and onto a rug. This shot is heavily implying Xia Fei killed Jack. But Link Click does like to get tricky with the editing in the trailers, so we need more evidence. A little later in the trailer, we see Xia Fei fighting a man in a patterned shirt. This man is also one of the dead bodies in the compound. So we know Xia Fei was at the compound before everyone died. But this could have been a totally different day, as the fight was in what looks to be a basement while the man died upstairs. The editing implies this man and Jack died in the compound, but the floor doesn't really match the rest of the building, so that's also up for debate. We could also take the angle that Jack and Xia Fei were kidnapped and taken here by force. In Jae Lee's original trailer, there's a news article about models continuing to go missing. So this might have been a trafficking ring, which would also explain why the police raided it. In conclusion, I don't know if Xia Fei killed Jack, but for now I still want to believe he's not actually a bad guy, no matter how many music videos they throw at me. We get this shot of Li Tianchen. It's actually the exact same one used in the previous trailer. This could be from any point in time, but the police lights do line up with the vehicles that raided the compound, so maybe he was the culprit. The way everyone died makes sense with his ability, as he could just make everyone end themselves. The next shot shows both him and Vain. It would be hard for a wanted criminal to escape the country to England, so I think it's very likely this scene takes place in China, which is not good for Lu Guang, as Vain is very much out for revenge. After we see the bodies at the compound, we get this shot of Liu Xiao. The background and lighting matches with a later shot of him and Vain fighting. In both scenes, his eyes are a much lighter color than usual, possibly showing us he's using some kind of ability, which would be the first time his eyes have changed color in the whole series, despite literally using an ability in Brighton arc. So it might be a particularly powerful one or his original power. We still don't know the rules on that. As shocking as it was to see them fighting, I don't think it's anything serious. All the guards in the back aren't doing anything, so I doubt they're actually trying to kill each other. Maybe Vain doesn't want to completely cooperate with Liu Xiao. Actually, that reminds me of another theory I had. At the start of Brighton arc, we see the boys fight Vain, but not once do we see Vain's eyes. It's possible he's being controlled here by someone like Li Tianchen. They fight in what looks like a commercial kitchen or butcher, which matches with Vain's whole slaughter / possibly cannibalism motif from his character PV. Between that and the guards, it makes me think this is Vane's turf, which would place this scene somewhere in Brighton. So maybe it's right after Lao Xiao collects Vane from the morgue. When the title card shows up, it glitches a lot before disappearing. If you watch it frame by frame, you can see some hidden details. First, there's a shot of Xia Fei on the phone, which we see again later in the trailer. Then we have outlines of Lao Xiao and Vane from their fight. There's also these shots of Cheng Xiaoshi walking while bleeding and Lu Guang yelling at him that he won't be able to come back, both of which appear in the trailer. The fact that they're glitching like this tells me that either none of that was supposed to happen in the original timeline, or based on what Lu Guang says in the trailer, maybe it's the timeline reverting back to what it originally was, and this is stuff Lu Guang was trying to avoid. Before the title card, we get 2 lines of text, roughly translating to, "The trumpet of justice is still blowing, and this is a carnival-style slaughter." That second one is not concerning at all. After the title card, there's a few more scenes I want to talk about. The first is that shot of Cheng Xiaoshi walking while bleeding. He's wearing his season 1 outfit. Maybe it's a flashback, or maybe he's diving back in time to himself. There's no exit wound on his back, so it looks like he's been stabbed on the lower right side of his chest. This isn't when Vane shot him, as that hit in the lower left. So this is a whole different, possibly fatal injury. Also, look at the wall. The bloodstain has clocks in it. It's hard to make out, but I think the time is about 3:40. I don't think this scene is reality. It's either another weird dream sequence, or based on Lu Guang telling him he won't be able to make it back, maybe it's a representation of Cheng Xiaoshi trying to leave a photo after being injured while in there. Finally, we have these scenes of Xiaoling sitting under a bell in a clock tower, crying with blood running down her face. Maybe I just have trust issues after the Bride and Arc trailers, but I also don't think this is real. I mean, how would she even get up there? I would place my bets on it again being a metaphor for something. Maybe she really is injured, but the background is just a representation of time running out. Or she's using the ability she inherited from Li Tianxi to look at someone else's memories. The architecture looks a lot more like something you would see in Brighton than in China. So maybe it's Vane's memories. We actually see him standing in a clock tower in the Bride and Arc opening. And that's all I have to offer. Now we patiently wait until October, or until they decide to drop another devastating trailer. Thank you for your time.